Hey guys, let's look at today's set of questions. We begin with a question on the system of apartheid in South Africa, which was dismantled by this man and Nelson Mandela. Nobel Peace Prize awardee Frederick Willem de Klerk passed away recently. He was a former president of South Africa. Now, de Klerk, my friends, was the president of South Africa between 1989, I'll just write here, 1989 and 1994. Between 94 and 96, he was the deputy president. Okay, deputy president. I may wonder as to how is it that from a president someone could become a deputy president. For us to understand that, we need to dive into the past, and let's look at the past. See, South Africa, as you know, is a southernmost country on the African continent. I didn't want to have a map here because knowing this person is much more important than the map itself. You already know where is South Africa. Yeah. Now, guys, South Africa had a system called apartheid in place. Apartheid. This was a system in place between 1948 and early 1990s. Now, it was a slow, it was dismantled in the first 3 years of the 90s decade of the last millennium. But what was the system about? That's pretty important. The system was of racial segregation. The word apartheid in the Afrikaans Bhasha, Afrikaans language, means apartness. Apartness, that is separation. Apartness between who? Well, between the white minority peoples, you could say peoples, the white minority peoples and the rest of the population. So who were the white minorities? These were descendants of the Europeans. These guys came to rule the country with an iron fist, and they said that we are divinely destined to rule this country. And this, mind you, was a minority of people. Okay, this was a minority population, minority segment of the population, but they believed that they had been divinely manifested, to rule the country. Who were the rest of the people? Well, there were the blacks, there were the coloreds, which included, and the Indians. This was how they were segregated. Okay. Of these, Indians were treated a little above blacks. Now, you may wonder as to why. Well, this is an entirely different story, but then the story goes like that. There was a system of racial segregation. The whites were separated from the non-whites. Okay. And the non-whites included colored, blacks, and Indians. What kind of discrimination was in place? Well, all public utilities, were barred from entry, were barred from being used by non-whites. Like, for example, there were beaches which were reserved for whites only. There were, transport like buses, transport avenues like buses and all. They were not open to non-whites. It were clearly written on, on boards, on the buses and all that, only for whites. Okay. And there were some places where they were written, there were some very bad, colorful language used, like blacks, Indians, and dogs not allowed beyond this point. This is the terminology, this is the kind of phrasing they used. Blacks, Indians, and dogs not allowed beyond this point. So they were, they were not allowed in public life. Non-whites were not allowed to participate in public life in terms of elections and all. In fact, there were some communities which were stripped completely of South African citizenship. This was the system against which Nelson Mandela fought. Nelson Mandela fought against apartheid, the system of racial segregation, racial discrimination. In 1964, he went to jail. He was given a solitary confinement sentence, and he was there for about 27 years. But in 1964 and late 1990, he was in jail. Imagine that. Solitary confinement, 27 years. The man came out, and as the man came out, he did not. He said that I forgive all those people who imprisoned me, who punished me for fighting for the truth, for equality. But then that was the man's magnanimity. And at the time he was released, who was the president? De Klerk was the president. And de Klerk said that we will do away with the system of racial discrimination. We will do away with apartheid. So in 1993, he was given the Nobel Peace Prize along with Nelson Mandela. So Nelson Mandela and de Klerk were given, de Klerk were given the 1993 Nobel Peace Prize. Okay. Now you need to understand something here, that this was not very popular move. De Klerk's move was not popular among the white minorities, but then they could barely do anything. For long, the world had been against the white minority in South Africa. Now you may wonder as to, did the world let South Africa get away with this kind of racial discrimination policies? No. Many countries boycotted South Africa in sport, in public life, in business ties also. A lot of companies refused to have any kind of dealings, any kind of business with South African entities, especially run by the the whites. And coming to political, sporting ties, I'll give you one very good example. In 1974, India went to the World Cup final, Davis Cup final. Davis Cup World Final. India made it to the final. Who was the opposing team? Well, South Africa. And India refused to play South Africa because of its policies of discrimination. So India gave a walkover to South Africa. That was 1974. We stood for our policies. We said we will not play against a country that discriminates against its own people on the basis of, race, on the basis of on the basis of the color of the skin. Yeah, that's how it was. If you would want to read more about this, I suggest you, in fact, you read a little more about this. That's the term you should search for, apartheid. It's a long story. I've cut it short and told you a few things. There are pretty good novels. One novel I would highly recommend is Life and Times of Michael K. Michael, the letter K. Michael K. Okay, Life and Times of Michael K. This was a novel published in 1983, written by John Maxwell Coetzee, J.M. Coetzee. You should read this book. Okay, Coetzee. He is one of the very few persons to have won the Booker Prize twice. He won it for this book. And he also won again, this was 1983, he won again in 1999 for another book called Disgrace, which again is built around the idea of discrimination but post-apartheid South Africa. Okay, so there is this black, there is this black person, the relationship with a black person and a white person. What happens in the story of this? Later, Coetzee migrated to Australia, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, he went to Australia. But you should read these two novels. Yeah, great novels. Because I know these stories, and I can tell you that reading brings in a lot of perspective about the world we live in. You became a lot more subdued in terms of acceptance. Okay, the world is like this. There is discrimination everywhere. Okay. But please read, my friends. It's a good thing to read, to learn. Without reading, you wouldn't know much about the world. Would you? Well, while you wouldn't be learning, if you read, you will be becoming better with every passing minute. Let's look at the choices. South Africa today has three capitals. I'll just write this. It's called the Republic of South Africa. It has three capitals. One is Bloemfontein. Okay. The second one is Cape Town. Cape Town. And the third one is Pretoria. These are the three capitals of South Africa. The president, the current president is Cyril Ramaphosa. That's the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa. I mentioned that de Klerk was the deputy prime president between 94 and 96. Well, he was a president in the government in the Rainbow Coalition of led by led by Nelson Mandela, and the coalition was led by African National Congress, which is like the ANC party of Nelson Mandela. So he was deputy to Mandela. You want to watch a good movie? There is this movie called Invictus. It's not about apartheid, but what happens when Nelson Mandela becomes the president of the country. There is a very good movie. It's a very good movie. Invictus. 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 Yeah, there are a lot of movies, a lot of books to read, to learn, a lot of movies to watch, a lot of stuff to read. In the process, we only become better, my friends. Yeah. Maybe we could pick a couple of countries here. We could pick Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's capital is Zimbabwe, Harare. That's a capital. And the president is a guy called Emmerson Mnangagwa. Emmerson Mnangagwa. Okay, the currency is the Zimbabwean dollar. Zimbabwean dollar. Sorry, guys. Zimbabwean dollar. And let's look at more now. Kenya, I think Botswana. We could look at Botswana. Its capital is Gaborone. The president is a guy called Mokwitsi Masisi, and the currency is Pula. Pula means rain. It's a desert country, so you can know the significance of rain in this country. It's everything, isn't it? Chali. What do you want to know about Namibia? I guess. Well, apartheid was in Namibia, was there in Namibia also. Yeah. The Europeans, wherever they went, they discriminated a great deal against the locals, the indigenous people, my friends. Yeah. Recently, Germany said sorry, issued an official apology to the people of Namibia for having killed thousands of them, for opposing the German colonial rule. Namibia's capital is Windhoek. This is how you look at Windhoek, and its president is a guy named Hage Geingob. Hage Geingob. Its currency is the Namibian dollar. Namibian dollar. Okay? Yeah, Namibian dollar. Fair. Which of the following has become the first Indian two-wheeler and three-wheeler manufacturer, two and three-wheeler manufacturer to be part of the UN Global Compact, the world's largest sustainability initiative? Well, TVS Motor Company. So what's the UN Global Compact? I would want you to write this. Just one sentence, please write. Yeah. UN Global Compact. And before that, I think we could write just when it was started. Right. Dash. Started in 2000. Year 2000. Started in the year 2000. Started in the year 2000. Okay. Next, CEO Chief Executive Officer Sanda Ojiambo, sorry. She's from Kenya. Sanda Ojiambo is the Chief Executive Officer of the UN Global Compact. Now let's write what is this about. Okay, right. Third point. Non-binding pact. Non-binding pact. PSCT. Pact. To encourage businesses. To adopt. 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 Sustainable and socially responsible policies. I'm going slow, so assuming that you're writing. So let me repeat. Non-binding pact to encourage businesses to adopt sustainable and socially responsible policies and report on their implementation. Now you may wonder, what are sustainable, socially responsible policies? Well, this would be about labor policies, human rights, greening the environment, all that stuff. Okay? So as of today, 13,000 corporates around the world have signed up for this particular project. Do you know who are the heads of these organizations? TVS Motor is headed by Venu Srinivasan. He is a CEO. Bajaj Auto MD is Rajiv Bajaj. Atul Auto, Jayanti Bhai. That's how the names, that's the name I found on the website. It's not Jayanti Lal, it's Jayanti Bhai Chandra. Piaggio is an Italian company. You know the Vespa, Aprilia, they are all made by Piaggio. Okay. I could write this. Roberto. They say Roberto, we say Roberto. The pronunciation varies, okay? Roberto Colaninno. Mahindra and Mahindra chairperson is Anand Mahindra. Chali. In a bid to encourage and reward loyalty among merchants, which merchant payment and financial services provider is planning to launch a $100 million merchant shareholding program. That's a lot of money. 750 crore rupees program where people would be given shares in Bharat Pay. Bharat Pay, this QR code. QR stands for quick reaction code. So it's a pioneer. They have this QR code, wherein you could use any payment medium like Paytm, Phone Pay, GPay, whatever, through QR code generated by Bharat Pay. So the CEO is Ashnir Grover. We'll just take a couple of them, not all of them, okay? CC Avenue, it is Vishal Mehta. Vishal Mehta. Paytm, Vijay Shekhar Sharma. Paytm came out with this public issue and it didn't really do well for its investors, especially the retail investors, because it kind of listed at a discount to the actual price, to the listing, discount to the you say that the application price or the share price actually. Magdalena Andersson is said to become the first woman Prime Minister of Sweden. She hasn't become the Prime Minister yet because she has the candidature has to be approved by her party and later by the Swedish Parliament. As of now, Stefan Löfven, she's going to succeed. If we just want to write, she's going to succeed Stefan Löfven. Stefan Löfven is the current Prime Minister of Sweden, who will be succeeded by Magdalena Andersson. Norway, the Prime Minister is Erna Solberg. That's the Prime Minister's name. See, both Norway and Sweden are constitutional monarchies. There is a monarch as the head of the country, but the Prime Minister is the head of the government, okay, head of the executive. Let's clear this and let's look at Switzerland. Now, Switzerland has a new president every year, okay, because they have something called the 7-member Federal Council, where each member becomes the president of the country for 1 year. Currently, it is Guy Parmelin. That's the president's name, Guy Parmelin. Finland, they have a prime minister named Sanna Marin. She is the youngest female head of government ever. She became the PM at about 32, I guess. Sanna Marin. Netherlands is again a constitutional monarchy like Sweden and Norway. The prime minister is Mark Rutte. As part of the year-long commemoration of 75 years of Indian independence, the cabinet meeting recently approved the declaration of Dash as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas to remember the contributions of tribal freedom fighters. November 15th. November 15th. Why? Because this is the birthday of the great Birsa Munda, freedom fighter. So, hundreds of thousands of tribals, lakhs of tribals, millions of tribals fought in our struggle for freedom from the British rule, and one of the most popular names would be that of Birsa Munda. Munda is a tribe that you would find flourishing in Jharkhand, Bihar, Odisha, and you have Western West Bengal. Okay. So you have Birsa Munda there, and he was born, if I'm not wrong, 1 month before Sardar Patel was born. That would be 15th November 1875. Sardarji was born on Sardar Patel was born on 15th December 1875. Anyway, Birsa Munda. Then what about the choices here? Apart from Children's Day, this being November 14th being the birthday of Jawaharlal Nehru, this is also Diabetes Day. Diabetes Day. November 14th, Diabetes Day. Okay. Then November 17th, Epilepsy Day. National Epilepsy Day. Epilepsy Day. National Epilepsy Day. November 21st, TV Day. Television Day. World Television Day. TV Day, World Television Day. World Television Day. And November 11th would be National Education Day of India. National Education Day of India. National Education Day of India. Okay, National Education Day of India. So you have why National Education Day? Because this is the birthday of the great freedom fighter and India's first education minister, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. Maulana was his title and Azad was his pen name, while Abul Kalam was his name, actual name. Okay, it's a long name, but Abul Kalam is a popular version. The name that we, folks like us use. Okay. So if you look at this particular question, India's first center of excellence for research in drone technology and artificial intelligence was recently inaugurated at the Indian Institute of Technology in Guwahati. Okay, I guess that should be it. And these will be controlled, run by the regulated drones and all will be regulated by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Ministry of Civil Aviation. And who is the Minister of Civil Aviation? Jyotir Aditya Scindia, like his father before him. Yeah, Jyotir Aditya Scindia. Of course, the father was a member of the Congress, like Jyotir Aditya was for a long time. Recently joined the BJP. Jyotir Aditya Scindia. His father was his mother of Scindia. Yeah. Two of his buas are members of the BJP, like him now. One's the former Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Vasundhara Raje. What were the choices? Something more about the choices? Maybe just one. Guwahati is also the headquarters of Northeast Frontier Railway. Northeast Frontier Railway Zone. Guwahati is also the headquarters of Northeast Frontier Railway Zone. This is, it's strictly speaking, it's not Guwahati. There is a suburb of Guwahati called Maligaon. But you could write Guwahati, no harm. Okay. Yeah. Which two institutions have recently extended collaboration to fight corruption and crime in sport? The International Olympic Committee and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. So let's start with IOC. Let's start with IOC. Right, IOC, underline that. International Olympic Committee. International Olympic Committee. First point, International Olympic Committee. Second point, established 1894. 1894. Established 1894. Next point, head office. Head office, Lausanne. You could write with a double N also. Switzerland. Lausanne, Switzerland is one of the most expensive cities in the world. Lausanne, Switzerland. Then you could write President Thomas Bach of Germany. Thomas Bach of Germany. Thomas Bach of Germany. Let's look at UNODC. Underline that. United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. Drugs and Crime. United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. Underline that. Second point. Established 1997. 1997. Third point. Head office. Vienna. Vienna, as you know, is the capital of Austria. 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 Next. Its Secretary General is Ghada Wali of Egypt. Ghada Wali of Egypt. Ghada Wali of Egypt. Okay. Hey, I guess I'm sorry, I was in the wrong page. Anyway, this is the name, Ghada Wali. Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. I just moved to the next question, I guess. I've been using this pen and putting it on the keyboard. Maybe just inadvertently, one of those buttons, down buttons, would have got clicked. I guess One more organization we could look at. UNICEF, United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. Children's Emergency Fund. Head office New York City. And its secretary is, the position is called executive director, but you could write whatever, chief. Henrietta Fore of United States. UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. Head office Paris. Secretary General, Audrey Azoulay. Audrey, Audrey Azoulay of France. Okay. UNHCR. UNHCR. United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. High Commissioner for Refugees. High Commissioner for Refugees. Head office Geneva, or Geneva as some people say. It's in Switzerland. Then its Director General is Filippo Grandi. of Italy. Filippo Grandi of Italy. Next, ICJ, International Court of Justice. Underline that, first point. Only UN's principal organ, located or headquartered outside the US. Head office The Hague, which is a city in the Netherlands. Its president, it's a 15-member court, and its president is an American named Juan. It's pronounced Juan Donoghue. US. Juan Donoghue. Chaliye, we discussed everything here. India's name, let me clear this now. India's fourth Scorpion class submarine recently delivered to the Indian Navy. Scorpion is a French company basically. Okay. So fourth Scorpion class submarine recently delivered to the Indian Navy. The Scorpion in India are called Calvary class. What is it called? Calvary class. Scorpion submarines come under Calvary class. Okay. Yeah. So Kalvari is a Malayalam word. This Malayalam word means tiger shark. It's a kind of sea creature. Tiger shark. Basically, tiger fish kind of thing. So, quite lethal. So, there are 6 submarines under Kalvari class. Right now, 4th has come in. INS Indian Naval Ship Vela. INS stands for Indian Naval Ship. So, if you want to write the names of all the 6, I can give you. One is Kalvari. The name is INS Kalvari. Second is that Khanderi. Yeah, Khanderi. INS Khanderi. 3 Karanj. INS Karanj. Karanj is an island off the coast of Mumbai. Karanj. And then we have 4th one, the Vela. 4th is Vela. Okay. 5th is Wagir. INS Wagir. The 6th is Vakshir. Vakshir. The rest, see Vikrant and all, we will discuss later, no issue. Alexander Lukashenko has threatened to cut gas supply to the European Union if the bloc impose sanctions against the border crisis with Poland. Lukashenko is the president of Belarus. See, Poland, this is Poland, and they share a long boundary. So does Lithuania, that shares a long boundary with Belarus. Now, Belarus last year conducted an election. Lukashenko seemed to have lost the election, but he refused to accept the verdict and cancelled the election, put in jail one of the opposition members, one escaped. Alexander Lukashenko has been the dictator president of Belarus since 1994. He has ruled this country with an iron fist. No freedoms are allowed in this country. He is an ally of Vladimir Putin, members of the same club. Now, law of sanctions have been imposed by the European Union against Belarus. Canada has imposed sanctions. Australia, United States, they have imposed sanctions against Belarus for the election malpractice last year. Now the thing is, apart from the abuse of human rights and abuses of human rights and violation of election norms and all, Belarus also has been accused of using violence, as using refugees as a tool of warfare against its neighbors. Neighbors, especially Lithuania and Poland. See, Poland and Lithuania are members of the European Union, and the European Union has imposed sanctions. What Belarus is doing, it's flying Turks, Iraqis, Afghans, Syrians to the border with Belarus. Okay, and border with Poland, and they're putting them here. These guys want to go to Germany. These refugees, Muslim refugees, want to go to Germany, but they would have to go through Poland. And Poland has refused to accept refugees. So, if you would look up videos of Muslim refugees along the border with Poland, Belarusian border with Poland, you will know what I'm talking about. Thousands of refugees are here, languishing in sub-zero temperatures. But this is a kind of a warfare that Belarus is resorting to against European Union. Yeah, these are illegal migrants. Please know that. So it's sort of punishment. Let me tell you about Belarus. We know the capital. Okay, I'll write here. Capital, Belarus capital, Minsk. President Alexander Lukashenko. And the currency is ruble, Belarusian ruble. Belarus capital is Minsk. You can see this is Minsk. Alexander Lukashenko is the president. Ruble is the currency. I'll just bring in a couple of choices here. Okay. Ukraine, this is a very large country. Ukraine's Ukraine's capital is Kiev. There are two spellings. One is Kiev, the other is Kyev. Both are fine, don't worry. Kyiv also, yeah, is the third spelling. Sorry. Kiev, and the president is Volodymyr Zelensky. And the currency is hryvnia. Okay, that's a currency. One more country. Shall we look at one more country? What do we look at? Latvia. Yeah, we could look at Latvia. Shall we look at Turkey? Latvia is fine, I guess. Latvia. The capital, as you can see, is Riga. The Prime Minister is Krišjānis Kariņš. And the currency is the euro. Okay. Which country is the 101st member to sign the framework agreement of the International Solar Alliance to catalyze global energy transition through a solar-led approach? Well, the United States. You write this ISA. Then you could write head office Gurugram. Founded 2015 or 16. Was that 15? Yeah, 15, I guess. No, 16. 2016. Founded 2016. 15 is when it was founded, and it came into effect on 2016. So you could write 15-16, no harm. 15-16 is fine. Then its Secretary General is Ajay Mathur. And you could write 124 members. Next point, 124 members of the UN. Chalo, we can pick one choice here. We've been discussing Mexico, we discussed in the last class. North Korea is something, I think Mexico and North Korea we discussed in the last class. Vietnam I'll bring in. The capital is Hanoi. That's the capital. It's a totalitarian communist state. Vietnam, China, North Korea, Cuba are 4 totalitarian communist states, my friends. Okay. The president here is Win. This is pronounced Win. Okay. Xuan Fu. That's the president. This is the president. One name. The currency is Dong. D-O-N-G. Dong. ठीक है? चल. A year after normalizing ties with Israel, which of the following nations are holding their first joint naval exercise in the Red Sea with Israel? Red Sea is called red because of the color of an algae. There is a certain kind of algae in the waters here. Waters means water body. In the waters here, which gives the color red to the water. That's it, nothing else. Okay. The 3 countries. Okay, these 2. United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. Iran is a sworn enemy of Israel. So it will never ever sign any. It would not even recognize Israel. Iran does not recognize Israel. Iran does not recognize the right of Israel to exist. Iran says we will destroy Israel because it has occupied the land belonging to Palestinians. Okay. So we'll not go there. Let's look at the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates, my friends, is the capital is Abu Dhabi. The capital is Abu Dhabi. It's monarchy, but there is a president, and that guy's name is Zayed Al Nahyan. Zayed Al Nahyan. Okay. Then the currency is dirham. Currency is dirham. Dirham, you can say. Bahrain's a tiny country, very tiny country, 738 square kilometer country, much smaller than Delhi. Bahrain's capital is Manama, and its king is Hamad bin Khalifa. Hamad bin Khalifa bin Isa. Hey, bin means son of. That's it. Bahrain's currency is dinar. Yeah, dinar. Yes. Dinar. I think in the last class we discussed Iran. So let's skip this part. The book titled Unshackling India, Hard Truths and Clear Choices for Economic Revival has been authored by Chibber and Soos. Yes, Chibber and Soos. Arvind Adiga is the author, Booker Prize winning author of The White Tiger. Very good novel. The White Tiger. It's a series also, I think. Netflix or something. White Tiger. Which company is planning to launch Merck Sharp, Doim and Richback's Molnupiravir pill, the first oral antiviral COVID treatment under the brand name Molnupiravir? Sun Pharmaceuticals has entered into a tie-up with Merck. This is an oral pill instead of all these injections and all that. This is an oral pill. Okay. Sun Pharmaceuticals CEO is, the chairperson is Dilip Shanghvi. Dilip Shanghvi. Sipla Umang Vora. CEO is Umang Vora. Biological Evans is a Hyderabad based company. Mahima Datla, I think we discussed this in the previous class. Mahima Datla, CEO. Bharat Biotech, CEO is Krishna Ella. Dr. Reddy's Labs, CEO is Erez Israeli. The first three are Hyderabad based companies. Okay. Who will lead the Indian hockey team in the men's junior World Cup to be held in Bhubaneswar in November? Okay, in the last week of November to December. Okay, fair. That will be Vivek Sagar Prasad. Just write this. FIH, that is International Hockey Federation. This is a French short form. Junior World Cup. (2021) Odisha. It's actually Bhubaneswar. Okay, 2021 venue Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Next, 2023 Kuala Lumpur. It will be held in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Malaysia. Then could we be looking at something more here? You could write 2016 Lucknow, India, won by India. So India is a defending champion in the current, a defending champion in Junior World Cup hockey. Okay. So you also need to understand one thing. It's the first host country to have won the championship. Okay, India has won 2 titles, I think, and Germany has won 6. That's the most. So anyway, 2016 held in Lucknow, won by India. 2021 to be held in Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and hopefully India wins and goes to Kuala Lumpur. Yeah, which is the capital of Malaysia. Which space company recently unveiled its plans for building a space station called Orbital Reef? Blue Origin. Blue Origin. My friends, Blue Origin is a company promoted by Jeff Bezos. You could write this. Jeff Bezos. Okay. Jeff Bezos. Jeff. You know this, na? This guy is a founder, chairperson of, what is that company? Amazon. Yeah. Jeff Bezos. So we have space stations. We have the International Space Station. China is building Tiangong. Okay, but this private company wants to have its own space station up there because there is going to be pretty much a long number of a long line of space tourists, space travelers, and all that. That's what their assumption is actually. Okay, so Orbital Reef will be built by Blue Origin in collaboration with a company called Sierra Space. Sierra Space. You could say this. Sierra Space. SpaceX is promoted by Elon Musk. Virgin Galactic, Richard Branson. So these are the promoters of these private space companies. Okay, chalo. November 11th is celebrated as India's National Education Day to commemorate the birthday of the great Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. We discussed this a while ago. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar's birthday was on what is that? April 14th, and Baba Sahib's birthday is observed as Prem Divas. Prem Divas. So guys, Prem Divas. Okay. April 14th, yeah, Prem Divas. Vallabhbhai Patel, October 31st. Hey, a while ago I had mentioned that Sardar Patel was born on 15th December 1875. No. He passed away on 15th December 1950. My apologies. Sometimes it happens that too many things going around in the brain. Yeah, limited capacity of the brain. Too much is going around. They say unlimited capacity, but I think processing is important. So Sardar Patel was born on 31st October 1875. He passed away on 15th December 1950. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Vallabhbhai Patel's birthday, that is on October 31st, he is observed as Rashtriya Ekta Divas. Rashtriya Ekta Divas. You could write this. Rashtriya Ekta Divas. I'm explaining, so I have straightened it, my friends, today. Rashtriya Ekta Divas. Okay. Then we have Chakravarti Rajagopalachari. He is, there's nothing extraordinary in terms of his birthday. His birthday is not celebrated on any specific day. But Chakravarti Rajagopalachari was the only Indian Governor General of independent India. The second and the only Indian Governor General of independent India. Second overall. And he was the Governor General between June 1948 and January 25th, 1950. That's next day we became a republic now. Yeah. He was also one of the first 3 recipients of the Bharat Ratna in 1954. Narasimha Iyengar, Gopalswamy Iyengar, you could say architect or drafter of Article 370. Article 370 that gave special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, Next. Who of the following cricketers has recently been inducted to the Cricket Hall of Fame? All of them. ICC Cricket Hall of Fame. all of them, and while you would know about 2 and 3, you may not know about 1. Janet Britton played for England between 1979 and 1998. Okay, she holds the record for the maximum number of catches in a single World Cup. 19 catches. 19 catches, my friend, she took. Also, she holds the record for the most runs in Test cricket. Women's Test cricket. Women's Test cricket. You know, I think she scored something like 1935 runs with 5 centuries. This is the most number of runs by any woman cricketer in Test cricket. Test cricket, my friends. Okay. So Janet Britton, my friends. Which organization has allowed payments banks to carry out the activities of investment bankers? Now, what are the activities of investment bankers? You could write this. Banks, payment banks are now allowed. Payment banks are now allowed to be bankers to an issue, to a public issue. Bankers to a public issue. Bankers to a public issue. Bankers to a public issue. Yeah. Then next point. This means that they are allowed to accept application money, share application money, comma, refund of application money, comma, dividend payments, and interest warrants, WARRANTS, warrants. Now you may wonder, what is all this? See, when you apply to companies share issues, you could do this only through commercial banks. Now the government, the RBI has allowed, SEBI has allowed payments banks also. What it means is that now if you have an account with let's say Airtel Payments Banks or something like that, you could actually apply to shares through this. Okay, so you could actually apply, and the application money will come, will go to the, will be deducted from your account, provided you are allotted shares. In case you are not allotted, then the amount is blocked. Typically it's not released till you are allotted shares. Okay. Also, if a company pays dividend, when you buy shares, the company makes a profit, it gives away part of the profit as dividend to shareholders. That can also be accepted by payments banks. Let's say you have lent to the bank, lent to a company through debentures. Debenture is basically it's kind of lending, borrowing by a company through debenture bonds. So when you buy debenture bonds, you're lending to the company and you are paid interest by the company. The interest comes to you through interest warrant. It's basically a document, that's it. Okay, it's an instrument. That interest warrant could also be accepted by payments banks. Earlier they were not accepted, now they are accepted. Okay, so SEBI, we know Ajay Tyagi is a chairperson. Ajay Tyagi. IBBI is you could write this, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. Okay. Dash. Interim chairperson, Dr. Navrang Saini. There is no full-time chairperson now, interim only. Dr. Navrang Saini, interim chairperson, Dr. Navrang Saini. BBB, Banks Board, what is it? Banks Bureau Board, Banks Bureau Board. Chairperson Bhanu Pratap Sharma. Bhanu Pratap Sharma. Bhanu Pratap Sharma. Next. Which of the following banks has launched a new and enhanced security features SIM subscriber identification module binding in YONO and YONO Lite? What is YONO? You only need one. You only need one. You only need one. What is this? See, normally we on my phone, like for example, I have travel apps where I need to buy travel, which I used to buy travel tickets, my transport flight tickets and all that. Then you sometimes may have an IRCTC kind of app where you buy train tickets. Okay, then you may have something like apps like electricity payments apps and all that, where you pay your electricity bill and all. Now this particular app is a mega app. What is called, you could write integrated digital payments app. Integrated digital banking platform, payments app or banking platform to access financial and other payment features, financial and other services. That's it. Okay, so you could buy flight tickets through this app. There is a provision to that basically. Bank of Baroda, Sanjeev Chadda is the CEO. Dinesh Khara, State Bank of India. Punjab National Bank, SS Mallikarjun. Indian Bank, Shantilal Jain. Canara Bank, Lingam Venkat Prabhakar or LV Prabhakar. Sanjeev Chadda, Dinesh Khara, SS Mallikarjun, Shantilal Jain and Lingam Venkat Prabhakar. Deutsche Bank, how do you say that? Deutsche Bank will set up IFSC banking unit at Gift City, Gujarat, where is DB located? Frankfurt. You know what is Deutsche Bank? IFSC. This is one of the world's biggest banks, my friends. Its CEO is Christian Sui. This is the CEO. Okay. IFSC, you could write International Financial Services Centers Authority. International Financial Services Centers Authority. Okay, chalo. What else? Brussels, European Commission. This is where it is headquartered. European Commission, European Union is based there. ABN AMRO in Amsterdam. ABN AMRO Bank, mega multinational bank. New York Bank, New York City, Citibank or Citigroup. Okay, that's it. Which company has become the fourth IT company to hit $3 trillion in market capitalization? So what is market capitalization? You could write this MCAP, short for market capitalization, equals outstanding shares, number of outstanding shares multiplied by market price of each share. Okay, so let's say a company has issued 1 lakh shares. The market price of each share is 50 rupees. You get 50 lakh rupees. So that's the market value for all the shares of the company. Now if you look at the answer, this HCL Technologies, the first three are 1 TCS, 2 Infosys, 3 is Wipro. Okay, they are already worth at least 3 lakh crore rupees. Infosys is worth over 7 lakh crore rupees. TCS is worth over 10 lakh crore rupees. Okay. Look at the CEOs. Sanjay Jalona. L&T Infotech, Sanjay Jalona. Tech Mahindra, CP Gurnani, Chandra Prakash Gurnani. HCL Technologies, C Vijay Kumar. Wipro is Thierry, CEO is Thierry Delaporte. Infosys, Salil Parekh. Assets pledged by a borrower to secure a loan or other credit and subject to seizure in case of default are called collateral. See, co means with, together. Lat means side. So, side by side. I borrow from you, you need some security that in case I default, you could encash, you could sell and recover your money. That's the idea. So, they are called collaterals. Any kind of security, basically normal bhasha mein, we call it security, my friends. Okay. Who has been reappointed as chairperson of the advisory board of banking and financial frauds? Tejinder, what is it? TM Bhasin, Tejinder Mohan Bhasin. Tejinder Mohan Bhasin. Okay, he has been reappointed as chairperson of the advisory board of banking and financial frauds. Nitin Chugh resigned recently as the CEO of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. The bank hasn't been doing well, my friends. He resigned recently. NK Singh, he was the chairperson of the 15th Finance Commission and currently president of Institute of Economic Growth. Institute of Economic Growth. Okay. Shantilal Jain, Indian Bank. We discussed this a while ago. Indian Bank. Siddharth Lal, CEO of Esher. If you don't know what is this, Royal Enfield Company. Royal Bullet, that Royal Enfield Company. Esher. He is the CEO. Okay. Next. Next is thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Have a lot of fun. Stay curious.